You're listening to Behind the Music Podcast, a podcast that features the best musicians in Southern gospel music, with your host, Josh Griffin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of Behind the Music Podcast with our very special guest tonight. And I'll say this, and I don't think he'll mind it, but I'll say it anyways, the legendary Nick Bruno, Mr. Nick Bruno. Nice to have you in, sir. Thank you for being a part of this, and I appreciate your hard work and your efforts to get this thing going, and I thank you, sir, for doing that for me.
Well, I'm really fortunate that I got this on without my grandson here.
Hey, you did a good job, and I really do appreciate your efforts going through a lot of trouble doing this for me, sir. I appreciate you.
Happy to do it.
Yes, sir.
Happy to do it, Josh.
Mr. Nick, if you don't mind, just let's start out with what you're currently doing these days, and then we'll just kind of work backwards from there, talk about your time in Southern Gospel. But what are you doing now currently these days, Mr. Nick?
Well, I'm still producing records.
Yes, sir.
Still teaching, still helping artists, doing a lot of mentoring. About once a week, I do a online video, with some pointers. Don't do this, do that. That kind of thing.
Right.
All intended to help artists. And the last couple of years, I've been at Daywind. I have my office there at Daywind, and been doing some projects with Daywind. A lot of the projects that I'm doing now are hymns projects.
Okay. Yeah.
Quite a while ago, I discovered that people in general really love the hymns.
Yes. Yeah.
And the hymns are something that never go out of style.
Right.
So I've been encouraging artists to come into Daywind and record a hymns project. So mostly what I do now is that I did just recently finished helping Ronnie Booth with two of his projects.
Yes.
And not long ago completed a pretty good project with the Fairhaven Quartet from Corbin, Kentucky. And just not long ago did a group from Canada.
Yeah.
And so I stay busy.
Yes, sir.
I stay busy, and I praise God for that too.
Yeah, that's right. And these people, it would be wise to get in touch with you to do this because, you've been doing, how long have you been working in the studio doing like producing? How many years now, Mr. Nick?
Well, you'll have to help me count because 1978 I left the Kingsmen.
Yeah.
To go into full-time producing.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So ever how long that is.
Yeah, that's been
100 years.
Been a lot. Yeah. Do you by chance know the number of albums, I guess you would say, you produced and all that good stuff?
Oh, Josh, I don't have any idea.
Yeah, that's right.
I never counted them. It has to be in the thousands, I would say.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's good stuff.
You didn't ask me how many good albums I produced.
Well, with me, like I told you before, me being a Kingsmen fan, we're gonna do a little show and tell segment here in a little bit. But the ones that I got vinyl albums that you produced on by them, and then also I remember a CD back in 2000 or 2001. But anyways, we'll get to that part that you produced with the Kingsmen, and I was told that you earned the nickname the High Commander.
Yeah.
From Brian Hudson, my good friend Brian Hudson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, goodness. So, Mr. Nick, let's see. Start off from your childhood. If I remember correctly, were you born and raised in New York? Is that correct?
Yeah. Staten Island, New York.
Yes. And while we're right here at it, your mother, if I remember correctly, it was a movie, an inspirational movie, Christian movie here a while back, several years ago now. But she kind of provided the inspiration for one of the characters in that movie. Am I correct?
Yeah, the movie was The War Room.
Yes.
I'll give you the backstory.
Okay, yeah. Yes, sir.
My sister, Marie, is a terrific writer, book writer, that kind of thing.
Right.
And she had some friends in New York City, and they were all having a meeting about who they could get involved with that could serve as the guide for Miss Clara.
Gotcha. Okay.
And someone said, well, you need to call Marie's mom. She's a beautiful saint of God.
Yeah.
And so that's how all that started.
That's right.
And so the Kendrick brothers who produced this, they contacted Marie, and through that, they started doing Skype sessions with my mom at her house.
Oh, yeah.
And they would, they'd have a scene or something in the movie, and they would call her and say, well, here's what's happening. What would you do in this situation?
Right.
And then they would write that into the movie.
Gotcha.
And then eventually they actually came to her house in Spring Hill and were interviewing her. And so the character of Miss Clara in the movie War Room is modeled after my mom, Molly Bruno.
Yes.
It's a great honor.
I remember reading that, and I said, well, the correlation there in the Southern Gospel Music World, Nick Bruno, I said, and I got looking, and learned that was your mom. I said, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that is pretty neat. Yes, sir. Well, from there, sir, were you born into Southern Gospel music, kind of a fan of it from an early age, or how'd that come about?
Here's the story. I was raised in Staten Island, had no idea what Southern Gospel music was.
Right.
Was raised in a really good church and went off to Bible college in Green Lane, Pennsylvania. And while I was at Bible college, I became acquainted with a really good guy. His name was Eddie Spuler. We became close friends. Eddie lived in Philadelphia, which was about a little less than an hour's drive.
Okay.
And so one weekend, he said, hey, Nick, how about if we go to my house? We'll spend the weekend. My mom will make us some cooking. We'll have a good time. I said, sure. So I went off with Eddie to Philadelphia to spend the weekend. It was a Saturday, and he said, man, what are we going to do tonight? I said, buddy, well, I'm on your time. Whatever you want to do is fine. He said, would you want to go to a quartet concert? I said, sure. There'll probably be some cute girls there.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm thinking quartet concert. I'm thinking Frankie Valli.
Right.
But the quartet concert was held at Town Hall in Philadelphia. It was the Eastman Quartet, the Couriers Quartet, the Weatherford Quartet, and the Blackwood Brothers.
Yeah.
And Josh, I just had to tell you, I sat there like this all night.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, sure.
To me, it was the greatest thing I ever heard.
Right.
Now, just to back up a little bit, prior to this, my dad got me hooked up with a terrific gentleman named Bob Pescacello, and he was my piano teacher. And so I had this gift of playing the piano.
Yeah.
But I was at Bible college, and I still didn't really know what I was going to do with this gift. Yeah. But that night, when I heard those quartets, it just hit me like a ton of bricks.
That's right.
And I figured this is what I want to do with my life.
Right.
And so that was the start of it right there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too long after that. I'm sorry, that's my computer.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
It wasn't too long after that. We were at a campground over in New Jersey, Malaga Campground. And the group was there called the Keystone Quartet.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And their piano player was leaving. And so I literally left Bible college and joined the Keystone Quartet full time.
Yeah.
Royal blood now flows in my veins, and I, who was wretched and poor, now can sing. Praise God, I'm a child of the King. Now I'm a child with a heavenly home. My Holy Father has made me his own. Now I'm cleansed with his blood, and I'm clothed in his...
Eventually, over the next few years, The Keystone Quartet was myself, Richard Sturban,
Yes, sir.
Joe Bonsall,
Yeah.
and Dave Will. Of course, Richard and Joe were with the Oak Ridge Boys, and Dave spent his career with the Imperials.
Right. Yes,
So
sir.
that was a really good quartet.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. That's right. Very good quartet, yeah. Did y'all was it just you playing the piano? Did y'all have a bass player or anything like that?
No. This was way before that.
Okay.
I was playing the piano and singing baritone.
Yes, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Good deal. Yeah. Now, with that particular lineup of that group, did y'all record any studio albums?
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you? Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
Huh. I'll have to see if I can find some of them floating around on eBay something
I've
about
got
them.
one
Yeah.
around the house here somewhere, but I don't
Yeah.
want to take the
That's pretty
time to
neat
look for
though.
it.
Yeah. So basically after that time, Mr. Nick, was there another group that you joined? I didn't know of that group that you was with, but I know of two groups that you were with. But after that, where did it go from there?
Well, we did a lot of singing up north, as you can imagine. And so we eventually moved that quartet to Buffalo, New York, from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. While in Buffalo, we attended a concert, my wife and I, in Cleveland, Ohio. And one of the groups that was there were the Rebels.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, for some reason, I don't remember the exact logistics, but we all wound up in the hotel lobby upstairs around the piano singing gospel music. And so they asked me to play a couple of songs, which I did. But unbeknownst to me, the Rebels piano player, Jimmy Taylor, had already turned in his notice and was looking for a replacement.
Ah,
And
yeah.
so he had his eye on me.
Uh-huh.
And so a couple of weeks later, the Rebels were back in the Cleveland area, and they called me to go meet with them. At this time, I had already left the Keystone Quartet, and I was working a job there. And so they offered me a job.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we packed up and moved to Florida with the Rebels.
Yeah.
And I was with the Rebels for a short time. And
I won't find mansions here in this world of sin and shame. All I want to know is that I've been born again. I don't want wealth or fame. I don't care who knows my name. All I want to know is that I've been born again.
got to talk to Coy Cook.
Uh-huh.
And he told me he was forming a new group called Coy Cook and the Senators.
Yeah.
And he offered me a position, and so I took that job. And went with Coy Cook and the Senators.
Gotcha. Now there with the the Rebels, Jim Hamill was also part of that group. Am I correct?
Yes, Jim Hamill was part of that. The Booth brothers, Ronnie and Charles.
Yes.
John Gresham.
That's right.
And part of this backstory on this is the bass player with the Rebels was Kenny Hicks.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Okay, Kenny Hicks was J.D. Sumner's related in some way, nephew or something.
Right.
J.D. Sumner. And so I joined the Coy Cook and the Senators.
Right. Yes, sir.
Was with them for a while. And it happened that we took off on a tour I think the tour was going to be about 4 weeks with the
Right.
Senators.
Yes, sir.
About a week or so into the tour, we sang in Nashville, and on the billing that night also was J.D. Sumner and the Stamps.
Yeah.
And Kenny Hicks was playing bass with the Stamps at the time. And he told J.D. about me.
Yeah.
They needed a pianist. And so while I was in Nashville, J.D. called me on the bus and offered me a job.
Ah, yeah.
And so I actually left home as a member of the Senators,
Uh-huh.
and I came back home as a member of the Stamps.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Presence of the sweet Holy Spirit, sweet heavenly dove.
goodness. And I'll ask you this question while we're right here at it. Between those four groups, the first group, and then after that, the Rebels, the Senators, and the Stamps. Back then, was all their music kind of like the same style? Let's just say, all
Oh,
quartet
sure.
numbers. But yeah,
It was just good quartet music.
yes, that's
Just
right. Yeah,
nothing out of the ordinary.
yeah. Now, I never got to meet J.D. Sumner. I'm young. I was born in 1989. I did get to meet Jim Hamill one time back in 2004, 2005. Wasn't in best of health, but he was down here with the Kingsmen. Rode the Kingsmen bus, was down here at Waycross at All Night Sing back when they had All Night Sing. That might have been the last few years of it, but I did get to meet Mr. Jim. But how was J.D. Sumner? How was you hear a lot of things and hear singing and just a larger than life character, basically. But how was he? How what kind of gentleman was he? As far as that goes.
He was terrific. He
Yeah.
was terrific.
Yes, sir.
He was more like a father figure.
Yeah.
He was much older than everyone else in the Stamps.
Right.
Treated us all like his sons.
Yes, sir.
Taught us a lot. Taught me a lot.
Yes, sir.
And was strict, very strict. We had rules to go by.
Yeah.
And but he was a true Southern gospel music gentleman.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And during I don't know, during that time with them, did you ever, just a quick question, do you ever remember coming down to Waycross to like the All Night Sing years ago
Oh
down here?
Lord, yeah.
And then of course there Bonifay as well too. I live about a little over an hour north of Waycross, so I'm down here in South Georgia. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Of course, then back then, all the groups back then had bands and all, and just the lineup, with y'all, the Kingsmen, or several of them other Blackwood brothers. That had to be a pretty amazing time to get to see that. That was pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was with the Stamps, we had a bass and a guitar player. Duke Dumas played guitar.
Yeah.
It was sacrilegious to have drums.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Couldn't have drums.
Yeah. I guess they're afraid just gonna get too loud with them, or if you start carrying in amplifiers, y'all don't get too loud. Well, let's just get in here and get it set first, and if we get too loud, we'll bring it down. But we'll.
Yeah. One night, I was standing there with JD in a concert.
Yeah.
And a little old lady, a precious lady, she walked up and she said, you looked up to JD, who's 6'4",
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And she was trying to yell up to him, the sound is too loud. The sound is too loud. And JD looked down at her and he said, ma'am, he said, I'm sorry. I can't hear you. That sound is too loud.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a smart response. Yeah, I like that. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, while we're right here at it, during the time when you was with JD Sumner Stamps, of course, y'all got to travel and do the backup work with Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Talk about that time if you don't mind, please, sir.
Yeah, it couldn't have been over 2 weeks, or maybe not even that, after I crawled on the bus, that they said we're going to be the backup group for Elvis.
Yeah.
And so I never sang in the backup group, but my job was as a Stamps arranger. And so I went along to help them find their parts, one
Right.
thing and another. And what it wound up was I became Elvis's personal piano player for singing in the suite, and so just about every night after the show, we'd go up in the suite and he'd sing gospel music till the sun came up. So that was primarily what my job was. And it was an honor to be there. But one night, while we were up in the suite, he called me to the piano, Elvis did, and he wanted J.D. Sumner to sing Walk That Lonesome Road, which is a song that goes way down low,
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted those secular people to hear a
Right.
good bass singer.
That's right.
Well, I sat down at the piano and started to play, and right there next to the piano, right in front of me, was J.D. singing over my head, and right next to him was Elvis, and a couple of the guys were standing right there doing backup. So we started doing this song, and I was playing just a little spinet piano up there. And I realized that people were leaning in on me. They were on my shoulders and above my head, and they were pressing in to hear because there was no microphone. He was just singing without a microphone. And they were pressing me down, till eventually I was playing the piano, looking straight down at the piano. It was pretty awkward. But anyway, the song was over, and everyone kind of relaxed, and I got back up, and I looked on this shoulder right here was Frank Sinatra. And I looked on this shoulder right here was Dean Martin. And on top of my head was Sammy Davis Jr. So it was the Rat Pack pushing on me.
That's right.
But the backstory to that is it was that moment in time, really, that I realized that that's not what I was called to do. I really didn't feel like I belonged there. And so I decided to turn in my notice, which I didn't do it at that moment. But later on in the year, I turned in my notice to JD. And Don Baldwin, the manager of the Couriers, invited me to go back up to Pennsylvania and manage his recording studio, which I did. And after a few months, Don came to me and he said, "The Kingsmen are having a big homecoming in Asheville. Would you like to go down there and check it out with me?" I said, "Well, sure, I'd love to go."
Yeah.
So we got in his car and drove to Asheville. And the long and the short of it is, while I was down there, I found out that Charles Abey was leaving the Kingsmen.
Yeah. Yes.
Their piano player.
Right.
And Eldridge offered me a job to join the Kingsmen.
Yeah.
So I got back home and we talked it over with Cece and my wife, and we prayed about it, and I took the job. Yeah. And I was with the Kingsmen till 1978. That's right. Almost 6 years.
Yeah. And that time too, I guess, because Jim Hamill, I guess, remembered you back with the Rebels. Did he kind of put in a good word with Eldridge about you as well?
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, that's right.
And
while we're right here at it, Hamill, I mean, great singer himself as well. I've been seeing on Facebook here lately, somebody posted a picture or a video of him with the Rebels, and I can't remember the song. I want to get closer with walk closer with my God or something. But yeah, that song, and just the range he had on that verse, how he just started real high and just went down low, and I was like, and then of course they zoom out and show the bass singer, which was in Paris. But I was like, goodness, Hamill. I mean, mostly known for his MC work, but the man could sing.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was definitely underrated as a singer.
And had an
was
ear
an
for
amazing
music, you
singer.
know. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Amazing singer.
That's right. Because everybody wanted to say how funny he was, but he had that, and he knew how to work a stage, but could really sing.
Oh, yes, he was a wizard.
That's right.
Yeah.
And during that time there, did you know, like a program, did you know about what he was going to call out and do, or y'all just on the fly just did it and you just went with it, right?
Yep. He
That's
would
right.
lean over to me and tell me the next song, and
Yeah.
we'd strike up on it.
So at that time when you joined the Kingsmen, who was in the band at that time?
There's a mansion out preparing for me. I'm going home where the streets are paved with purest gold. Purest gold shining. What a wonderful reunion, no more to roam. I'll be happy, shouting, happy when I get home. I'm happy that day when I hear Jesus say, welcome, come now and enter home. I shall join heaven, hallelujah, to the mighty King of all kings. I'll be happy, shouting, happy when I.
Jim McCauley played the bass,
Okay. Yes, sir.
and John Broom was a drummer.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Just me and the bass and drums.
That's right. And I guess you had Johnny Parrott singing tenor.
Johnny Parrick sang tenor, Jim sang lead,
Yeah.
Eldridge sang baritone, and Ray Dean sang bass.
That's right.
That's
And
one of the best quartets I ever played for.
Oh yeah, great sounding quartet too. And
Yeah.
while we're right here, Mr. Nick, this leads in perfectly. We'll do a little show and tell here. I've got here, y'all recorded in 19. Well, you may have to correct me on this. I'm trying to remember 19. It was released in 73 or 74, and y'all recorded in 72 or 73. Big and live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How long was you with the Kingsmen, if you could tell me, before when y'all started or when y'all recorded that?
When I joined the Kingsmen, the next week we were in Eldridge's piano store rehearsing for that album.
Yes, that's
I'll
right.
tell you a story about that too if you want to hear it.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So we did one of the songs on there, When I Wake Up to Sleep No More.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So if you know Jim Hamill, he was pretty gruff in a nice. I mean, wasn't mean about it, but
Right.
he was a kind of guy, you know.
Yeah.
And so he says to me, he said, Bruno, we're going to do this song, and he said, I want a real Southern gospel piano intro for this song. Don't give me any of that New York stuff. I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so I took off on what I thought was a pretty good intro.
That's right.
He said, that's terrible, man. That is awful. That's the worst thing I ever heard. And so he said, let's take a break. So they took a break, went over to the coffee machine, started drinking coffee, eating donuts. And in the meanwhile, I stayed at the piano
Yeah.
because now I was nervous.
That's right.
And so I played 4 or 5 or 6 different kind of intros. No, that's terrible. None of it. So eventually, after I played about maybe 10 minutes of intros, I went back and played the exact intro that I played the first.
Yeah.
And Jim yells across the room about 40 feet, now that's what I'm looking for right there.
Why, I thought some wonderful morning just to hear Gabriel's trumpet sound. When I wake up, you'll sleep no more. Rise to meet our blessed Redeemer. With a great shout, I'll leave the ground. When I wake up to sleep no more. When I wake up, on the great morning, sleep no more. Jesus adoring, let me out.
What was you thinking at the time, or what did you say? That's what I done already.
I never said a word. I just played it. And that's the intro that's on the record, too.
Yep, that's right. And probably after that, Andrew Rishi and all them guys, Nick Succi, that's probably the same intro when they kicked off When I Wake Up to Sleep No More, Randy
Yeah,
Matthews or
probably
who
so.
all. Yeah, that's right. And I can't tell you how many times I listened playing that album and either Bluetooth on my phone. I got it on my phone on Apple Library, or either listen to the album itself, playing the bass guitar along with it. How many times? And it took me a while to figure out that intro, but I finally got it. Yeah. And helping, and I'll mention this while right here at it, helping learning the number system, the Nashville number system.
Yeah.
That helps out a lot. And I appreciate when I bought this from you. I didn't know you was going to do this, but you signed it for me, and I appreciate that, sir.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I got to get back
that
and
book
read
has
it.
just been out. That's only been out a short while.
That's right. I want to say I bought it last year before last, something like that.
Yeah.
1 to 2, yes, sir.
Been out about a year.
That's right, and I appreciate that. And I got to get back reading it and looking at all the charts and doing all that as well.
Can I make a commercial right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeah. This book will really help people.
That's right.
Anybody that needs to have a copy of it can go to my website.
Yeah.
nickbruno.com.
And that's the title of the book is The Real Nashville Number System, written by Nick Bruno. Yeah.
www.nickbruno.com.
Yes,
and
sir.
They can order it. It'll be a real help. Anybody in music.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you play at church or anything like that, and it ain't got to be in gospel. If you play, whatever. I know we talk. That's what our main focus on gospel music here, but learning the Nashville number system helps out a bunch. If you're learning new material or stuff, it makes it so much easier.
Our whole worship team at Hillcrest Baptist.
Yes, sir.
I'm the band leader there.
Yeah.
I've taught all the musicians that.
Right.
And we only use the Nashville number system.
And
it's amazing.
Why you mentioned about your church, you got two fantastic gentlemen there. Well, and a fantastic lady singer, Miss Katie Peach, and you got Mr. Troy Peach. And then their son is a phenomenal bass guitarist.
Shelton.
Yeah, I've seen his video on Facebook, and I was like, good Lord, he's younger than I am, and that younger, he's way, way far beyond my playing.
He's a
fantastic, yeah. And I always want to be one of those guys that encourages people, and I comment on there, I said, dude, you got it. You know what I'm saying? I'll gladly admit you way better than I am. I look up to you, buddy. If I could be like that, I'll be all right. Oh, goodness. If I'm not mistaken, from Big and Live album, we went to the Kingsmen 1686 or 1,686 pounds of gospel. And this is a studio album.
Yeah.
Is what we done there. Songs like Hallelujah Square, Have a New Song, written by Squire Parsons, Get a Little Touch.
Can I tell you a story about I'll Have a New Song?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
If I tell too many stories,
hey, you fine. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Well, we were on the bus getting ready to do that record.
Yes, sir.
And it was like the following Tuesday or so, we were going in to do the record.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm sitting there on the bus, and I've got music scattered all over on the table there, and Jim's sitting there, and Eldridge, and we're pouring through trying to find, make sure we have enough songs. And about that time, Squire comes up to the front. He'd been in the back asleep. And he come up front, and he said, "What are y'all doing?" I said, "Squire, I'm trying to find a new song for this album." He said, "Oh." He said, "Okay." And he went in the back. It couldn't have been, with my hand up, as Wendy would say.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He comes back up to the front with his guitar. He said, "Try this one. Bring, I'll have a new song over in glory." We'll take it.
With the Kingsmen singing, "I'll have a new song."
How I love to sing Amazing Grace. No sweeter song I know. And how I love to tell, love lifted me, how he came and made me whole. Then I'll have a new song over in glory, a song the angels cannot sing. And for a million years I'll tell the story.
I mean, that's, to me, that's just talent and also intelligence to do that, and plus do what like you do as well too. I mean, smart people, you know what I'm saying? Just got the talent and just intelligence. I was like, my
Ate up
gracious.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. And if I'm not mistaken, from there, we went to this album called Jubilation. Let's see if I can get it in shot
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Songs like Shoutin' Happy, The Old Time Way, Master of the Sea. Great song. I'll See You in the Rapture. Oh, is that? No, that's not the same Jerry Goff song, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. The Old Ship is, I see, when I'm gone home, what a wonderful time, when my feet touch the streets of gold. Yeah. Oh, great song. And speaking of that song on YouTube, when y'all recorded the, is it Music City Special in Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah.
That, and of course you had the Seagulls there was on there. Well, Willie Wynn and the Tennesseans, and of course then y'all had a country music star to sing with you. But that's one of them that's on YouTube floating around, and that's great stuff.
Yeah. Glory Road is on there too, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, sure. And then all the groups come together, do When I Wake Up to Sleep No More.
Yeah.
I'll Have a New Life, the old Redback hymnal song. That's right. And I think sung Family Bible with George Jones on there as well, on that particular version. But that's good stuff as well too. Yes, sir. Let's see. After that one, I believe The Old and the New, Jim Hamill and Squire Parsons album as well.
I think they made me look ugly on there.
Yeah, they kind of didn't really look like yourself on that one. Yeah. Oh, goodness. You'll have to help me with this, but who they got pictured playing the steel there? Who's that supposed to be?
Gary Dillard.
Okay, Beaver. Yeah. That's right. Oh, let's see. Did songs like Sing the Glory Down by Mr. Hempfield, Had to Have Me, More to Go to Heaven For, On the Way Home, What a Beautiful Day, Because He Lives, and some others on there, but another great album as well, too.
Yeah.
And that one there, and you know this gentleman, his son, we know him, Mr. Rob Novell, his dad, produced that one, Mr. Charles Novell over at Queen City.
Charles Novell,
Yeah. I've interviewed him a couple episodes back, and that's a real nice guy, Mr. Rob Novell. Very nice guy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Let's see. Continue on after that one. It Made News in Heaven. That one.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that Gordon Jensen. It Made News in Heaven.
Yeah.
Hello, Mama. Mr. Colbert Croft, I Wouldn't Stop Now If I Could. Jesus Have Mercy on Me. Things That I'm Seeing, old quartet song. Think About the Good Things. Let's see. When the Redeemed Shall Gather Home by Mr. Squire Parsons. I Made a Covenant. Yeah. Another great one. That's the back cover of it. I didn't show it. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Another great album as well, too, on that one. Let's see. From there, Just in Time, featuring the song Don't Be Knockin'. Another fun tenor song. And you probably remember that song on the reunion video y'all done. Johnny, I think, started off with, and then Ernie Phillips come in, and I think, and sung the last part of that song. Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember right. Let's see. The old song Called Up, Captain Jesus. He Never Gave Up on Me, Some Sweet Day, old Kingsmen song.
Preach about it on every Sunday morning. Better get you ready. Better drink a warning. Get your house in order for that coming day. Makes no difference just what you think about it. Well, I'm not gonna sing it. I'm not gonna shout it. Soon he's coming back to take his children home to stay. On some sweet day, I will sail away. I'll do this world. I'll say goodbye. What a happy day when I sail away. My beautiful home. No sad goodbyes, no more goodbyes, and I'll never more roam on some sweet day. I
Then after that, Mr. Nick, just a little closer home. Probably my favorite, as far as studio albums of the Kingsmen. That one's got to be up there. Probably two of them. This one and Shelter. They did in 1999, but this one here, just a little closer home, is
Yeah,
one of my favorites as well.
yeah.
And a great picture. He did not fail, of course. Just a little closer home. Gerald Sweatman. Let's see. We Do Not Die was on that, released on that One-Way Flight. Walking and Talking with Jesus. I love that one. I Owe It All to Him. Hungry for the Meal and Calm the Storm was some of the
That's a
great.
great album. That was a good album.
And,
That was on Heartwarming, wasn't it?
yes, sir. That is correct. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. That is correct. I got Mr. Ray Dean Reese to autograph that one for me a couple years back, or several. It was back before COVID. He autographed it for me, the cover of it. But when you talk to Kingsman fans, everybody talks that's one of their favorites.
Yeah.
That album. And then after that, let's see, because that was the first album with Ernie Phillips.
Yeah.
And then you went to Chattanooga Live.
Yeah.
Talk about that night, if you don't mind, Mr. Nick. Of course, you had all the great songs. Traveling Home, I love that song. Lovely Name of Jesus. When They Call My Name, is that the Old Ship of Zion? Old Ship of Zion.
The Old Ship of Zion.
I bet that was a memorable experience.
Yeah, because
I was standing on the banks of the river, looking out over life's troubled sea, when I saw an old ship that was sailing. Is that the old ship of Zion?
we didn't have any music to it. We all sang on it.
Yes.
And for some reason, the people just love that song.
Yeah.
It's just, just a bunch of guys up there singing a cappella,
Yeah.
and no fancy spancy, it was just, but the song, the message in the song is what carried it.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful song.
And while we're right here, we got to mention his name, Mr. Conrad Cook. Wrote that song, wrote Glory Road and some of the Kingsman hits. But I'll mention this too. A couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, I'm a member of the SGMA, and I filled out my ballot online. And, of course, I nominated Mr. Conrad Cook, but I also, while we're right here at it, nominated you. So hopefully we'll get you in there this September. That'd be great. Because you need to be in there. You got to be, yeah. All you've done, you got to be in there. And I'll say that.
Friends.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And I won't be ashamed to admit that, but that's right. But, yeah, songs like that, We Do Not Die, Learning to Lean, which old hymn y'all done. I Must Tell Jesus, Standing on the Solid Rock. But I imagine that had to be a great night as well.
Oh, yeah.
Chattanooga Live. Of course, after that, you were not with the group at this time. You'd already left just a little bit later. But I was reading here, you produced another great live album, Live Naturally.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason I'm showing this, because you produced this one.
Yes.
What was that like going, producing that great live album as well, Mr. Nick?
Well, for me, it was an amazing experience.
Yes, sir.
The guys just, they outdid themselves. Mount Vernon, Illinois. It was just terrific. When they did Excuses, that's one of those things that you just knew that you knew that you knew.
Uh-huh.
Excuses, you'll hear them every day. Now the devil, he'll supply them. If from church you stay away. When people come to know the Lord, the devil always loses. So to keep them folks away from church, he offers them excuses.
In the summer it's too hot, and in the winter it's too cold. In the springtime, when the weather's just right, you find someplace else to go. Well, it's up to the mountains or down to the beach or to visit some old friend. Or just to stay home and kind of relax and hope some of the kin folks will start dropping in. Well, the church benches are too hard, and that choir sings way too loud. Boy, you know how nervous you get when you're sitting in a great big crowd. The doctor told you now you better watch them crowds. They'll set you back. But you go to that old ball game because you say it helps you to relax. Well, a headache Sunday morning and a backache Sunday night. But by work time Monday morning, you're feeling quite all right. While one of the children has a cold, pneumonia do you suppose?
While the whole family had to stay home
just to blow that poor kid's nose.
Excuses, excuses, you'll hear them every day. Now the devil is smiling, if from church you stay away. When people come to know the Lord, the devil always loses. So to keep them folks away from church, he offers them excuses.
Well, the preacher, he's too young, and maybe he's too old. The sermons, they're not hard enough, and maybe they're too bold. His voice is much too quiet like. Sometimes it gets too loud. He needs to have more dignity, or else he's way too proud. Well, the sermons, they're too long, and maybe they're too short. He ought to preach the word with dignity instead of stomp and snort. Well, that preacher we've got must be the world's most stuck-up man. While one of the ladies told me the other day,
well, he didn't even shake my hand.
Excuses, excuses, you'll hear them every day. Now the devil, he'll supply them if from church you stay away. When people come to know the Lord, the devil always loses. So to keep them folks away from church, he offers them excuses. So to keep them folks away from church, he offers them excuses.
I knew that was going to be a smash hit. And it was. It was the only song that topped it on the Singing News charts was the Blackwood Brothers' Learning to Lean.
Yeah.
But Excuses were number one for 10 months.
Yeah. That's right.
He didn't even shake my hand.
That's right. When you first heard that song, because I guess you had to hear it before the live album, what did you think of that song? Other than you knew it was going to be a hit, but, what did you know?
Well, to me, it was Kingsmen.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And you might as well title the song Kingsmen.
That's right.
Because the Kingsmen didn't play by any rules.
Right. Yeah.
They just two chords and a cloud of dust.
Uh-huh.
We're going to do whatever the people want to hear.
Yeah.
That was the rule, whatever people want to hear, that's what we're going to do.
Right.
And it proved to be successful. Yeah. The other group that is failing with that is the Inspirations.
Yeah.
Nobody likes them either.
Yeah. Yeah. Failing at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness. In case y'all didn't get that, was a little bit of joke there. Yeah. That's right. Oh, goodness. But yeah, that's why people like them. Yeah. You're right, though. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly right. And then talking about producing for the Kingsmen, go back to my time back in the year 2000, proven time and time again.
Best album I ever did with the Kingsmen.
Songs like
Hopefully.
Get You to the Other Side, The Next Cloud. I love The Next Cloud.
Next Cloud was a hit.
Without Jesus,
yeah.
Old Brother, Angels in Flight. Went back into the old Kingsman song, I Made a Covenant with My Lord.
Yeah.
Jason Self, great singer on Forever Redeemed.
Oh,
phenomenal bass player, but a great singer too. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going Home to Live, I'll Meet You When the Morning Comes, another great old song. I Never Trusted You, Jerry Martin. Heaven Now Is Waiting, and A Much Better Way, another great old song as well too. But that was a great CD as well too. And
yeah, that was great. I was very proud of that one.
Yes, sir. And that's why Brian Hudson, with you being producer on that one, calls you the High Commander. Yeah.
I gave him a rough road. I mean, on
Yeah.
that album, I
Mhm.
literally got on the bus.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that because I've got from somebody, it might be Brian gave me, they record somebody in the audience recorded that in Monroe, Louisiana. You rode the bus that weekend and you come out and played Glory Road with them, but they told that you was with them on that trip riding the bus, getting ready for this album, doing the
Yeah.
arranging and all. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we worked on it all on the road, and
That's
it
right.
turned out good. The singing on there is amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It
sir.
is.
Very good stuff. Yes, sir. You're exactly right. Well, Mr. Nick, and I'll ask you this just for myself, basically. Any advice you have for any young musicians, like young bass players that love this music? Just any keys to, just to give them advice.
Well, um, one thing that you must remember as a musician, and I try to teach this as much as possible. Musicians in our business in Southern gospel music, well, in any, I guess, they're accompanists. Okay. And an accompanist is somebody that supports the vocal,
Right.
right? And one thing that I always encourage piano players to do is not to overplay.
Right. Yes.
The first indication of a weak musician, in my view, is somebody that never stops playing.
Yeah.
And so you play what's needed when it's needed.
Right.
You play in the holes, but you don't play over the singing.
Right.
And bass players, one thing that I try to encourage bass players, the bass guitar is not the lead guitar.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
The bass guitar is a support instrument. And generally speaking, the bass and the kick drum should be married to each other.
That's right.
And so I see bass players oftentimes playing too many licks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But it's not necessary.
Right.
So
That's right.
for all musicians, less is better. That's my
Yes.
motto.
Yeah.
Less is better.
That's right. And if you ever listen to studio albums or CDs or whatever, you hear the musicians playing less, really. Great musicians, but they're not, just really jamming away and fancying it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, and especially the guitar players.
Right.
Their job is to fill the holes.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody's singing, you don't want to hear a guitar player.
Uh-huh.
It's in the way, or the piano player. Either one.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Nick, if you don't mind, if you know of one and can think of one, tell us a good road story with your time with the Kingsmen, and then we'll wrap this up if you don't mind, please, sir.
Okay, I've got two that I'll tell you.
Yeah, hey, that's more the better. Yes, sir. Yeah.
We were singing at an outdoor tabernacle, and the bus was parked right on the side of the tabernacle near the stage. About 40 feet from the stage was the front door of the bus. And at the time, Squire was singing with us, and Eldridge was with us that weekend. And so Jim made a big spiel about get ready, folks. Our leader, our illustrious leader, the one who has built the Kingsmen Quartet, one of the greatest baritones you'll ever hear, blah, 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 getting ready to come out and sing for you. And would you make him welcome, Mr. Eldridge Fox? And Eldridge opens the door to the bus, starts walking toward the stage, and forgot to put on his hair.
Oh man!
So he had to run back to the bus.
You Jim didn't let him live that down, but yeah.
We were
Oh,
doing the TV show that you're talking about.
yes, sir. Yeah.
John Broom was playing drums. And so Jim wasn't happy with what he was doing. So he stopped the cameras and he turns around to John Broom and he said, John, when we get to that certain spot right there, I want you to go, bada boom, 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 boom. And I want to hear it. He said, okay, yes, sir. So they got back, they started rolling the cameras again, turned on the red light. We started singing. So we got to that spot in the song, and John Broom stood up from the drums and said, boom, 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 boom.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Ain't no telling what Hamill thought or said.
I know. Quite amazing.
Oh, gracious. Well, Mr. Nick, this has truly been my honor, and I appreciate you doing this for me. And like I said, I'm a fan of yours, big fan of the Kingsmen, but fan of anybody that's in the Kingsmen. And I greatly appreciate you doing this.
Well,
This has
Josh,
been
it's been
great,
my
sir.
honor. I really appreciate you having
Yes,
me.
sir. I appreciate you, sir.
You're doing a
Everyone, we thank you for listening to episode 13 of Behind the Music podcast with our special guest, Mr. Nick Bruno. And while we're right here, if you're a member of the SGMA, if you didn't this year, hopefully we'll get him in this year, but nominate him to be in the Hall of Fame next year. But we appreciate you all so much. Thank you, and God bless.
You have been listening to Behind the Music podcast with your host, Josh Griffin. Tune in next time, and until then, please rate and share this podcast.